Alright, today I'll be running for Empire 4 Ballisters, 4 Hammer Scouts, 2 Priests, Clerics? I think they're Clerics. 2 Clerics, 3 Spine Shells, 3 War Pigs, 2 Snowy Owl Fighters, 1 Cryonia, 3 Mad Axes, 3 Greenwood Archers, Greenwood Archers, 2 Mumfords, 2 Faceless Saints, and 1 Jacob. So I'm running the Greenwood Archer, which is a new unit. I don't use it on my main account because it is so much of a lower level than my other cards. It's level 4, and my average card level on my main account is level 6. So it's just a little unimpactful because of that. However, it's the same level as everything else here. It's like, what, level 3? Yeah, so I can use it in this deck. So I'm essentially just using it as a replacement for Brute Axes. And of course, on my main account, I don't use tanks because tanks get fucked up at higher elos. So, but down here in Gold and Diamond, I can use them just fine. So I will be using Faces Saint, Mumford, and Jacob. I would have preferred getting Times, but Jacob's okay too. I have the Snowy Owl Fighters to basically stun lock a single unit whenever something like a Burn Sister or something pops up. And then we've got I'm running Clerics, even though I normally don't, just because I have a lot of tanks. I'm using Spine Shell, and because I'm using so many high-cost tanks, such as Faceless Saint and Jacob, I need more 2-cost units, and the only thing I had left were the Faceless Hands and the Clerics, and I just feel like the Clerics are a little bit better than the Faceless Hands. The only problems with my deck is that the only AoE damage sources that I have are the War Pigs and then my tanks, which are all very high cost, so I have to be careful about that. Alright, so you know the drill. Gonna get in here, going to destroy poor low elo people. Unless, of course, I lose, in which case it was bullshit and something weird happened with the game. You know how it is. Alright. This is a fairly good hand. I don't think I want to start with these. I don't want a Spine Shell, because I didn't have any good Spine Shell targets. And then I don't need 2 sets of Greenwood Archers. Alright, interesting way for them to start off. Alright. And my Greenwood Archer is still alive. This is a fairly scary push here. I'm going to use my... Oh, I guess I'll use these now. Alright, I should get a very substantial amount of damage off here. Oh, almost won. If I get these War Pigs to connect, I think he's used 3 Terminites out of 4. So it's unlikely that he has them still, so this might win the game. Yep, there it is. And that's why you don't waste your Terminites like that. They're very useful against stuff like War Pigs and Painlings. So in the beginning, I was just trying to keep my Greenwood Archer alive while pumping up their sensibility, which gives them more attack speed, which also synergizes with the Empire's Guardian ability very well. And then after that was done, it was just a matter of optimizing my push without investing too much soul into the push. Which in the... I'm not gonna touch you. Oh, interesting. Don't need that right now. I think the rest is fine. I probably won't be playing Greenwood Archer because it looks like I'm just going to be doing a Faceless Saint push, which so I won't have enough soul to pump up the sense. Alright, so there we go. Alright, ended up squeaking out a win there. They played Structures. First they played a Poison Gecko, and then they played Structures to try to counter my push. Faceless Altar is a very, very good card. However, it's very slow. So that's not the appropriate response to when you have a Faceless Saint bashing in your front door. As well as the Faceless Saint will constantly be dealing damage to the Faceless Altar, which means it'll spawn less units, which makes it less cost effective. So yeah, just wasn't a really good idea. Maybe they just had too many structures in their deck overall. So maybe it's just that they got flooded with structures, and that's the only responses they had. In which case, that was just bad deck building, which wouldn't normally matter too much. At this elo, but because they're going against me, it matters a lot more. I waited a little long to respond to the Burn Sisters. I wasn't expecting this much damage. I wanted to play my Jacob, but let's just get rid of the hot shot before it becomes a problem. Play some Hammer Scouts. Yeah, play some more Hammer Scouts to delay the Xenoclaw. And looks like this is a win. The only reason I won this one was because they overcommitted a bit to the push. Although I did make a mistake of not taking the initial push as seriously as I should have. So that almost lost me the game. But then they still committed to it, so they didn't have enough soul. They played a Xenoclaw for a counter to my Greenwood Archer after it already locked onto their Guardian. They could have played something cheaper because the Greenwood Archer is very squishy. So it will die very quickly, as long as it's not attacking whatever is going for it. Which, since it was already locked onto the Guardian, they could have played anything to kill it, really. Maybe they just had too many high-cost cards in their hand, and Xenoclaw was the cheapest one, in which case, again, you want your your average soul cost to be 3.3 to 3.5 is like the golden range, in my opinion. In which case, if that was the case, they probably had like a 4+ average cost deck, which is awful. So with Empire, mainly it's just playing off of Scent, either with Brood Axes or the Greenwood Archer. I don't think I'd recommend having both, maybe. I guess you could try it, but I don't think it would be too good. It could work. I haven't tested it out myself, personally. And then again, Spine Shell is very important. Spine Shell just does so much damage. It's like mine's level 3, 54% reflected damage. So if something has 1,000 HP, then it's going to do 540 damage if it's being attacked by the enemy Guardian. So that's an extra 540 damage to the enemy Guardian just for playing that card. On one card with 1,000 HP, normally when you play Spine Shell, you're going to have a much higher HP pool than that alone. If you just have 3 Hammer Scouts there, that'll be like, if you have 2 Hammer Scouts, it's almost 3,000 HP, which is a little more than half that. It'll be a little bit over 1,500 damage to the enemy Guardian just from playing a couple of Hammer Scouts and Spine Shelling them. Assuming nothing other than the enemy Guardian is attacking them, then just for the Spine Shell alone, we'll do a little over 1,500 damage, which is a huge amount to a Guardian. That's normally at least like a quarter of its HP. And again, that's from an unoptimized Spine Shell. So Spine Shell just does way too much damage to really not use it. I didn't get a chance to use the Cryonia, but it's really just oh shit button kind of thing. So that's going to finish the Empire video. Just remember, be patient and always try to keep in mind that what the worst case scenario your opponent can do. If you assume the opponent always has every option available to them that you don't want them to have, if you always assume they have the worst card for you in their hand, then you'll play safer and you'll make less mistakes and you'll start winning more games. as well as that, and just being more patient in general, and you'll start doing a lot better. People like to rush things like he did. The last person I faced, they kind of rushed the push a lot, and because of that, it wasn't a very optimized push. And even though I didn't really take it seriously in the beginning, I was still able to um, get through the push and make a nice push of my own, and he didn't have enough resources to respond to the push, so I ended up winning. Um, Yeah, that's basically all you really need, at least to get up through Diamond, which I'll talk more about getting to Masters in itself in my Diamond series, which will be coming after another set of Gold games. Because a majority of you guys are in Gold and Diamond, so I'd like to get at least 2 runs of each faction for each rank of Gold and Diamond. Um, yeah, so that's about it. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you get notified of future videos. Please let me know if you have any suggestions or what you thought. Hope you enjoyed the video, and best of luck climbing.